Hey everybody, my name is Sky, or Raw Sky. I am a raw vegan, and I wanted to talk today about how I discovered veganism, raw veganism, and my health, all with foods and a self-love that comes from veganism. So I was very sick most of my life. So when I say sick, from the age of 8, I was unwell. I have been at doctors, I had surgeries, I shouldn't be here. I've had over 60 surgeries. I was eating a very standard Australian diet. So I will say it wasn't too unhealthy, but it was meats, there was processed food, there was medications, I was smoking, I was drinking, all these things were going into my body. I was seeing many doctors, many hospitalizations, getting really unwell, and I didn't know another way to kind of look after myself. I didn't realize that what I was listening to and reading about, all these science and all this data, may not have been the correct way to be the healthiest version of myself. So in 2018, I had just got out of hospital. I had been very sick. I was in ICU a couple of times. I was only 37 kilograms, and I had then lost my memory. I had psychiatric problems. And after I'd come out of all this, my mum was actually on a paleo diet. Now, this is not vegan, but I did try this diet. Now, this diet was a lot of fruits and a lot of nuts, seeds, vegetables, and one meat dish at night. My health did do relatively well. I'm definitely not as well as I am now. And I continued to eat this way for a year. Then I ended up with shingles through my eye. I ended up in a neurological hospital because I couldn't walk and talk. I had carers dressing me, had to relearn to do a lot of the basic skills that people have in their life. When I went through this, I decided or started thinking about what I was putting in my mouth. As in, when I looked at it, I was like, how dare I eat somebody else's baby? This can't be right. Nobody would try and eat my baby or even try and eat me. What do I have a right? Just all these very strong emotions. I do believe this turning to veganism was a huge spiritual awakening, as well as getting my health, as you're here. I feel there was something on a conscious and spiritual level which brought me to the diet. So this inner voice was sort of saying all of this to me about other creatures. How would I feel if they were eating me? So I became very conscious. Now, the next few years I spent in hospitals. So it was mostly a vegan diet in hospitals, which wasn't that great, but it was part of me learning more about me. The more I ate this way, I did not feel as bad. So I continued to eat this way. My health actually got worse. So I felt better in my conscience felt better, but unfortunately the proteins in my blood stopped being made. I had nutritionists look at what I was eating, and they said I was eating more than enough of proteins, of irons, of everything I should be eating. So I just took it as me being sick. I, at this stage, had not put 2 and 2 together, as in like that there could be foods that would actually help me heal. I continued on this journey, and as I did, I was in hospital more, but eventually I moved out of home and had to make food for myself for the first time in my life. As I started making these foods, I was eating, because I was so unwell, it was easy to eat fruits and salads, uncooked foods really. When I did make cooked foods like steamed pumpkin with some garlic and thyme, that's all that would be in it. Or I would do some dry stir-fried cauliflower with some turmeric, very basic foods. I would end up back in bed. If I ate the raw foods, I would then start to feel that I could do things. Now, I'd never been able to do this in my life. And this is where the real miracle happened. So as I ate these raw vegan foods, I started to feel better and better and better, up to a point where I started working. I bought my first apartment. I swam in the ocean all through winter. I run, I do Pilates, I have my own business. So many things came about, all because of these raw foods. So I essentially want to say that I gained my health from raw foods. But when it comes to veganism, and a lot of people say, it's about the animals. It's about the animals. And I want to tell you this, is every human on this planet is an animal. And I could actually not care for an animal, even being vegan, until I went raw vegan. So until I found my health. Now I can play with animals, I can touch them, I can sit with them in nature, I can appreciate them just like human beings. I can sit with them, talk to them now. When you don't look after yourself, you are injuring others around you, and that is the planet. And I feel like veganism has this mindset of it's for the animals, it's for the animals. And the thing is do you know the cost it is? If you put vegan junk food in your body and tell me it's for an animal, but you're doing it for the animals, is your death will cost this planet, which is the animal's home, a huge toll. All the gases, all the pollution, all the work hours, all the training that goes into people in hospitals because you're eating junk food, it's not fair to the animals. So the best measure that I took for this is to love me. Veganism to me is this self-love that lives inside of me, that as long as I look after me, I start to radiate love. And that love comes across as care for family, for animals, for nature. And until I found what works for me, that was not possible. And this is my take on veganism. I mentioned earlier that my name is Raw Sky. I started the Raw, ROAR website, and I share everything there about raw veganism, foods. I wanted to get out there to the world all that you can embody and empower yourself with and feel great. And when you feel good and look after yourself, you want to share and help others to find their way. I am now 42. I started this journey when I was 8 and I became a vegan when I was about 38. I will say again that the real change came with raw foods, and now I can care for me. I have much less footprint on this planet, and this planet is here for everybody. Also say once again that I do believe veganism is an act of self-love, because that self-love will radiate when you walk, when you talk, when you share. So thank you so much for listening to my journey and listening to my take on veganism in this world. If you do want to reach out to me, the best way to reach out to me is to go to my website, which is rawsky.com. And thank you.